I know, it's a bit light. I know it's a lot light to record the post GP. I just came back home today, actually, from holidays, Easter holidays, and so why not do a post GP just to share my opinions about this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix weekend. What a race it was, actually. I pretty enjoyed watching it as a Ferrari fan as well. Better than the rest of the season, basically. So let's just basically go straight as the last time we did. We have the standings here, and we're gonna go with a rating for all the drivers, starting from the last in the race. That is Pierre Gasly, DNF. Pierre Gasly, very solid weekend, actually. And we can obviously, as he retired lap 1, we can only consider the qualifying pretty solid. In Q3 again, while his teammate is P17, mega job again by Pierre, so underrated. For me, it's a 7.5 out of 10, nothing we can really say, but just an amazing weekend for him, that unfortunately ended at lap 1. Who was fault here between Tsunoda and Gasly? I think it's a racing incident. It was at the end for the penalties, but in live I said this is a racing incident, to be honest. Tsunoda just couldn't disappear, and the same for Pierre. And I think none of them exaggerated, actually. It was fair for Pierre Gasly to try and overtake around the side there. He left all the space of the world to Yuki, but also Yuki couldn't really turn more left than he did, and he couldn't really back off, to be honest, because he was ahead when they started the corner. So maybe Gasly should have waited. I think it was worth a shot, and unfortunately it didn't work for the Frenchman. Yuki Tsunoda, DNF him as well, a bit after Pierre Gasly, but same lap 1, lap 2, because Daniel started, I don't know why he retired, probably too much damages on the car. Again, what you can say about Yuki, better than Lawson, basically, as a Red Bull driver, so better than nothing. His teammate is on pole, you are P9, it's not ideal. For me, it's a 6 out of 10 just because you went into Q3 with this Red Bull. I don't know, for me, but it's a 6 out of 10 because we don't know how the race could go for him, so I'm gonna give him a 6. Portoleto, P18 last, behind his teammate as well, but he couldn't do a session of free practice, so nothing we can really say about Portoleto. The car was just bad. He almost killed Alonso, to be honest, but nothing he could really do, to be honest, with that car. He missed out the session. 6 out of 10 just because he missed the session. Otherwise, it would have been maybe a 5 out of 10 because he is behind his teammate. Obviously, P17 for Duan. This is a flop weekend, to be honest, for Duan, because behind his teammate by a lot, to be honest. Obviously not the best strategy maybe to pit at lap 1. They tried it, but he was already starting in a very bad position. So for me, it's a 5 out of 10 because too much behind his teammate. I understand if you're behind Pierre Gasly because he's an amazing driver, but not that much behind, to be honest. Not that much behind. Pierre Gasly Q3, you exited in Q1. Not ideal weekend for the one that, in general, to be honest, is convincing me. Is convincing also the Alpine engineers, but we know his position is quite tricky. By the way, P16 for Lance Stroll. And this is a flop as well. He started very well the season, finishing ahead of Alonso, some races, most of the races, to be honest, from the start of the season. And here, no, he just paid off a lot by Fernando Alonso that finished in P11. You are P16 with the same car. Not an ideal weekend. Lance Stroll for me is 5 out of 10. Yeah, behind your teammate for me is not like that means how much you are behind your teammate, to be honest. So for me, it's a 5 out of 10. Stroll never loved this track, to be honest. We saw him crashing years before as well, so I understand that cannot be maybe his best track, but it's acceptable, to be honest. He's doing a pretty good season, to be honest. Lance Stroll, not that bad. By the way, P15, we have Nico Hülkenberg beating his teammate. The car wasn't there, basically. He just did what he could do, so for me it's a 7 out of 10. With that car, deliver P15, finish ahead of some cars, is okay. And yeah, nothing you could really do, to be honest, with that car. P14 for Esteban Ocon. again, to be honest, I'm judging them just by comparing to the teammates, because I was really watching the race of the top 10, to be honest. Then I couldn't follow as smoothly as I could because of the internet connection that was pretty bad, as I said also on a post on the main channel. So couldn't really follow a lot the free practice as well, the qualifying a bit. So it's just comparing to their teammates. And so for me, Esteban Ocon is behind Oliver Berman, 5.5 out of 10, just a position behind. So yeah, just okay. Just okay, can happen, to be honest. Oliver Berman, P13, he loves this track. We saw it in 2024, his debut with a Ferrari, and he delivered such a very great performance, replacing Carlos Sainz. And he's here, beat his teammate. He did pretty well. Nothing he could do more, probably, with his car, beat his teammate. So for me, it's a solid 6.5 out of 10 for Oliver Berman. P12 for Liam Lawson. He's improving, race by race, but is behind the rookie. Liam Lawson is a bit of a rookie, but he's not really a rookie. Ajar is a rookie. And he's P10. So for me, you are P12, so okay, you're improving, but for me, he's a 5.5 out of 10. You have more races, more experience. Not by a lot, okay, but you have more experience than Isaac Ajar, and you finish behind. Okay. You are learning again the V car, obviously. You started with the Red Bull. Give him time, and I think he can deliver some better performances. He's not even that bad. So, good Liam, you can improve, I believe in you. By the way, P11, Fernando Alonso, 7 out of 10 for me. Great weekend. He tried that massive overtake on board later there that almost killed him. By the way, destroyed a bit his teammate, to be honest. In this weekend, pretty solid. Fernando Alonso, pretty solid pace. Unfortunately, not in the points, just by a position. But yeah, pretty solid for Spanish. The Aston Martin isn't there basically, so finish P11 with that car is pretty okay, pretty good. P10, Isaac Ajar, and this is a top of the weekend. What a driver, Isaac Ajar. Apart from the mistake of Melbourne, what a season he's doing, to be honest. As a rookie, one of the best rookies. There are a lot of rookies, by the way. Yeah, pretty good. P10 for me is a 9 out of 10 points with a Vicar. Perfect. P9 for Albon, behind his teammate. Not the best quality, but he almost went into Q3 just a few milliseconds. I think 7, something like that. Behind Hamilton, that almost got. But we're gonna talk about this later. By the way, almost in Q3, starting P11. Yeah, he gained 2 positions because of the retirement side. Then did his race, and he basically delivered the car home. So for me, it's a 7 out of 10. Very good to finish in the points with Williams. Not ideal to finish behind your teammate, but by only a position and a few seconds. Carlos Sainz, P8, and he's a top for me. Him as well of this weekend. Beat his teammate. He's learning the car. And so, why not give him an 8 out of 10? Very good, Carlos. You couldn't race last year. This year, you are ahead of your teammate. And these are points for the Williams, double points. Very good. P7, Lewis Hamilton. 4 out of 10. Maybe also 3 points. I'm a Ferrari fan, okay. Is unacceptable. Unacceptable. You are a 7-time world champion. You can be okay. You have to adopt the car. And okay, but you're not alone. There are some other drivers that needs to adapt to the car. And it's 5 races, to be honest. It's not the first race that I could understand. 30 seconds in the race by Sherlock is pretty crazy. Your teammate is on the podium. You're P7. No, it's unacceptable for me. I don't even know where to start with Lewis because he is so, lots of problems with this. He's not confident with the car, but I don't know. Not all the drivers have this confidence. I don't know. And the setup seems to be pretty similar to Charles 1, so only Charles can drive it? Maybe. P6, Andrea Antonelli, behind his teammate, but he's still a rookie, he's improving. And so, pretty anonymous Mercedes, to be honest, so I can't really give him a vote. I would give him a 6.5. Didn't really follow his race. Basically, we saw the Mercedes with Russell that wasn't there, and so what could Antonelli do? Just behind his teammate, a position behind his teammate, 7 seconds behind his teammate in a race, so I think it's acceptable. 6.5 out of 10 for Kimi. He did his job, points home, and it's okay. P5 for George Russell. Again, him as well, nothing he could really do, 7 out of 10 just because he's ahead of his teammate, but the Mercedes this weekend wasn't there. Yeah, a bit bad weekend for the Mercedes, this one. P4 for Lando Norris. I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10, maybe 6, to be honest, like 6 out of 10, because, oh my god, you're fighting for the championship, you were leader of the championship, that mistake in quali, in particular, because it's the first attempt. For me, it's is unacceptable. If it was the last attempt, I would have understand, because you searched the maximum performance and etc. You already set a lap time, so if you crash, you're gonna still be safe in the 3rd position, 2nd position, something like that, or maybe also pole position. But doing at the first attempt of the Q3 is a bit too much. Is a bit, to be honest, unacceptable for a driver that wants to fight for the World Drivers' Championship. Then in the race, he did his race, he didn't do something extremely incredible, because 2 retirements of Yuki and Gasly were ahead, so basically he didn't recover also that much. He has a rocket ship, so not an exceptional, like, he did his job in the race, not in the quali, obviously. By the way, P3 for Charles Leclerc. I'm a Leclerc fan, so sorry, maybe I'm glazing too much him. What a fucking weekend he did. Hamilton is P7, as we said, he is in P3, 30 seconds side of Lewis Hamilton, and he could defend at the end, also helped by Lewis Hamilton with that defense. He could defend the podium. For me, he's a solid 10 out of 10. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe, sorry, but just a mega fucking weekend, just a mega race. To put in that Ferrari on the podium is pretty impressive, to be honest. And he did the real maximum, and that's sad for a Ferrari fan like me. You did a perfect weekend as a Ferrari, you did a perfect weekend pit stop, driver, Leclerc. You did a perfect race, strategy, it was okay, it was good actually, to stay with the mediums more, and etc. And you're P3, when you do a perfect weekend, it's pretty sad, to be honest. First podium of the season for the Ferrari. Pain. We should have fight for the championship this year, come on. Oh my god, what a bad prediction I did. By the way, P2 Max Verstappen. Mega quali in the race. I don't know. To be honest, lap 1 incident wasn't Max's fault, to be honest. Not deserved penalty. Or at least FIA should have given the time to Max to swap the positions. Or should have told Max to swap position, to be honest. I think if you don't tell who did wrong before getting a penalty, I don't know, I don't understand the FIA. In the end, it's not the first time that happens, obviously. To be honest, Piastri didn't left any space. To be honest, it was a racing incident, in my opinion. And so, for me, no penalty. It was 5 seconds. So he lost the win for that. He could have probably won if it wasn't for the penalty. Pretty solid weekend, 9 out of 10 for Max Verstappen. He did the maximum probably he could do with the Red Bull mega pole position. Also helped by Yuki Tsunoda. And then the race, he did what he could do basically. So, P1, Oscar Piastri, mega weekend. He wasn't the fastest on track, but he still win. He still won actually. So, pretty solid. Ahead of his teammate leader of the championship. 2nd consecutive win. And yeah, he maximized basically, he over maximized as well. That overtake on Lewis Hamilton was pretty impressive as well, and just a very good weekend because he maximized. It wasn't the fastest, but he still won, and this is scary for Lando and maybe also for Max, to be honest, for a championship fight. Very good Oscar, very good Oscar. He needs to improve maybe a bit again, pace, in particular qualifying pace, because then in the race is pretty fast. Usually to Lando in particular the gap is in quali, just a bit of a gap, but there is, so he needs to improve a bit in it, but still win again. Mega Oscar. He has the mentality to fight for the championship, unless like not as Lando, for example. These were my rankings, very quickly, very straightforward, just my opinions about what I remember about the Grand Prix. Basically, I talk much more about the top 10 because I remember much more watching it. Let me know if you like this type of videos. Throw a big like if you like them. So subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Sorry if I'm not editing these videos and etc. If you want to see this edited, let me know down below in the comments. And thanks for watching. And as always, it's been a pleasure. Cheers!